Alright, let's have a little comparison talk. So here's a perfect example of a bride and groom who did their pictures early. They had a first look. What we're looking at right now is early in the day we had to find some shade. So as you can see in the picture down in the bottom left, you see some of the speckly light coming through, but what we had to do was find shade. Still a great picture. It's not that you can't get good pictures at not at golden hour. This is during the same time. Still very pretty. But then right during their reception, we grabbed them and said, hey, there's some magic happening. Are you guys good with going out for 15 minutes? We went out with a shoot, and that's when this kind of magic happens. And these are the pictures that, as soon as we got this film back, we shoot on film, as soon as we got this back, I kind of had that excited feeling of, you know what, these are the pictures that the grandkids are going to look at. There's something magic, timeless about the picture, and it's this kind of haze that's coming through right as the sun is just about to set. So these pictures are a perfect example of a bride that scheduled her shoot early so that they could do a first look, so that their guests weren't waiting for hours, but then we took them back out for a shoot right when the sun was about to set. Now, one thing, a lot of times people are thinking, okay, if I schedule my shoot around sunset just for that golden hour, what happens if I don't get golden hour? What happens if it's cloudy? What happens if it's overcast? Shauna, who we've been shooting today, is a perfect example. She scheduled her shoot right at golden hour and had a very overcast day, but very, very flattering pictures. There's nothing that I would consider ugly about clouds in the sky when it's still that evening time, because the light, I'm going to use my hands for this, the light is still coming from this low angle. So even though there's clouds in the sky, we're still seeing the light coming from the side instead of from straight above. If the sun's coming from straight above, we're going to get these ugly dark shadows under people's eyes, but if it's coming from the side, and that's what I want to show you with these pictures, even though it was cloudy, it was still a great advantage to actually schedule the shoot right around the time of sunset, because they had this soft light coming in, and I don't think it took away from it at all that it was cloudy. Here's a bridal picture. This in the middle of the day would look very different. You'd have dark lines, dark shadows. When we're talking about soft light, it might be a techie term, but what we're doing when we're finding shadows during the day and when we're using the golden hour, we're actually mimicking what's happening in a photo studio. So if you picture a studio, there's probably a bunch of white umbrellas, maybe a white softbox set up. What that's doing is it's diffusing the light and it's making it more flattering. So when the light hits your face, it's soft and not casting ugly shadows. What we're doing when we're scouting locations and when we're looking for light, we're looking for that happening naturally. Sometimes we have to bring in artificial lights to make that happen, but a lot of times we're looking for buildings that are bouncing light, we're looking for clouds that are diffusing the light, and the perfect time when we can mimic what's happening in the studio is right now, because we've got this gorgeous backlight that's pretty strong coming from the sun, but it's still light enough outside where we're getting soft light on our face. So there's soft light coming from the sky making me look attractive, and then there's this hard light coming from the back. And when a bride has her hair all done up and she's either got a veil or the flowers or something, it's accenting all those little details. That's when we can shoot here, and it's almost like a halo is happening behind. And that's the difference between finding shadows, still great pictures, but then these magic moments when this almost studio light naturally happens in the sky and you get this haze that's coming through right as the sun is setting. That's why we would always prefer that a bride and groom are at least open to the idea of scheduling part of their shoot during golden hour.